Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. You joined me down at the storage yard, and a couple of weeks ago I did a video on the replacement of the battery charger so that my Caravan could accept a lithium battery. Now with that in mind, I thought I'd sit down and talk about the pros and the cons of lithium and lead acid. I'm going to skip out AGM and gel batteries because they're not as popular with us caravanners, and stick to the two that are becoming the most popular ones to choose. Now, if you're new to caravanning and you've bought a brand new caravan, the chances are your system, hopefully, will already be catering for lithium. Whereas if you've got an older van like me, it won't. So you have to look at a battery management system, which I'm going to talk about with the lithium a little later on. But first of all, let's just talk about the pros and cons of a lead acid battery. Well, the first thing is they say that these are cheap. Well, actually, they've gone up in price quite a lot over the last couple of years. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a cheaper battery. Believe you me, it's a cheaper battery. But if you're going to be buying a good quality 120 amp hour battery, then really you're going to be spending a couple of £100. Now, the price of lithium has come down, but more about that in a moment. The other actual pro with the lead acid is the fact that they don't bother about the cold. They will still charge even in cold temperatures. But the cons are, it weighs a damn ton. It's 32.5 kilos, this battery, and this one is 10.5, so you can do the maths. We're going to be saving 22 kilos. The other thing that takes a little bit of time is the fact that this takes a long time to charge. It relies on a trickle charge, and it seems to take forever, and it needs to be regularly maintained. You've got to keep this topped up. If it drops below 12 volts, then 9 times out of 10 it's going to be goosed. You might be able to rescue it, but more than likely it's probably perished because the cells decay inside. So that is lead acid. Let's talk about the pros and cons of lithium. Well, the pros are straight away, as I discussed a minute ago, is this is 10.5 kilos. That is 32.5 kilos. So we're saving a lot of weight. And it's easy to manage. And when you're doing maintenance on the Caravan, it's easy to remove and put back in. So you're not going to be breaking your back like you are with the lead acid. The other pro is this takes a lot less time to charge. And also, when it is charged, the discharge rate is quite low. So it doesn't seem to drop as quick as it does with a lead acid battery. The other thing is you're going to get a lot more use out of the actual lithium against the lead acid. With this discharging, you're going to get a continuing amount of power, whereas with the lead acid it tends to drop off and the power gets weaker and weaker. This will continue to give out the same power rating as it goes down, which for me is one of the reasons why I've chosen it. So the cons of a lithium battery are, well, they did say the cost, but they have started to come down in price. The other thing is they don't like the cold. Now, I know some are now starting to put preheaters inside the battery itself to allow it to charge, because if this drops to 0 centigrade outside, the chances are, if you don't keep this topped up or remove it, it could destroy the cells inside, which is the last thing you want to do. So you've got to look after this in terms of the maintenance that way, against the maintenance in relation to a lead acid. Now, the other downside to the actual lithium side is the BMS, or battery management system. You need a suitable battery management system in your Caravan that can handle lithium. Now, if you've got solar, you're going to need a solar regulator, which is going to be able to handle lithium. You're also going to require a battery charger that can again handle lithium. Now, my previous battery charger, the original that was in the van, would charge a lithium battery, but only to about 80%. And I wanted it to charge it fully. So I had to change the actual battery charger. Now, that was a cost of £120, and a solar regulator varies in price, but there are quite a few on the market like this one. Now, For me, I decided that I was going to go down the lithium route, having had lead acid for 8 years now, and this one was the final straw for me. It's not lasted very long. We had to buy it while we were away on holiday, unfortunately, because we needed it, and the dealership that was nearest to us only sold these. I would have really preferred a Yuasa or a Numax battery, to be honest with you, but that was what I was stuck with, and it's been a bit of a pain in the butt ever since we've had it, and I've not really liked it, and I can't get on with it. So that was a reason to move to lithium. The other reason for me to move to lithium was I spend a lot of time down at the storage yard making videos that we put out on YouTube, and I require power inside the caravan at all times of day and night, depending on when I'm filming. And I'm going to need the lighting on in the caravan. Now, with the lead acid, I wasn't getting much time to spend down here making videos because the battery would discharge quicker and I would have to leave it, allow the solar to charge it back up. Whereas with the actual lithium, I'm going to get a lot of longer run time. As I explained before, the battery discharges continuously but gives out the same amount of power, which is one thing I really do like, and for me it's a reason for changing. Now, you might have your reasons for changing if you're considering it, i.e. you might go on a lot of rallies, so you're going to get a lot more power over a period of time before it needs to be charged again. Or you might be just like me, you just think it's a good idea to change over to lithium and try some of the new technology that's available. So another thing that made me jump ship and try lithium was the weight. 32.5 kilos for the lead acid, 10.5 for the lithium. That's a 22 kilo saving on the caravan's payload. I've no doubt, Juliet, I'll fill the caravan with more rubbish and I'll lose that 22 kilos in an instant, but you win some, you lose some. Well, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you'll join us again real soon, but in the meantime, bye for now.